Hello and welcome to Daddy Share Space. And today I have before me my 4 high-end joinery machines that I've purchased over the past few years. I'm fairly new to woodworking on a more serious level. My skill set is definitely not up there with the types of tools that I have here on the table. My first joinery style device was this biscuit joiner from Harbor Freight. It's a Chicago electric. I've come up quite a long way with the tools that you see here. A bit about each machine based upon this is someone that is a novice to woodworking who has just been fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to buy these machines. I purchased all these machines with my own money. No sponsorships at all. Let me just name the devices first and foremost. So we've got the Domino DF500 here. We've got the Domino DF700 or Domino XL here. And then we have the Lamello Zeta P2. And finally we have the Mafell DF40 Duo Doweler. So this places dowels. This right here cuts kind of like a biscuit type mortise, which has a proprietary connector, and the 2 dominoes actually cut a loose tenon mortise for a domino style fitting. So here you can see an assortment of different types of fasteners and fittings that work with these devices here. So starting off with the Mafell, which I have here, it uses common dowels. In the actual device right now, I have 8mm drill bits, dual 8mm drill bits in the device, and that actually will allow me to use these dowels here. I also have a 6mm set of bits that came with this DF40P. So this gives you the ability to use these dowels. The plunge depth on the Mafell DF40 is in the name. It's 40mm, so you could basically put up to 40mm deep into each piece of material that you are going to join, or you can alter and put, like, say 10mm deep into one board and then 30mm into another one, or you can make any kind of varied combination as long as it adds up to 40mm depth or below. Next we have here the Lamello fittings. Now the Lamello, which is the tool here, this is the Lamello Zeta P2. It does have the ability to do biscuit joints. However, you actually have to get a different blade for this, and they actually do sell a biscuit joiner that looks similar to this, and it's a little bit less expensive than this particular tool. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend getting a Zeta P2 to actually do biscuit joints, but you could do that. But the connectors that it has, I just have a couple of them here, and they do come in varied sizes. This right here is a Climax connector, and I have a little Allen key here. You unlock it, or actually I just locked it, and it pulls apart, right? So you have 2 pieces. You put one into one piece of wood, the other one into the other one, and then you'll lock that cam and the pieces attached together. Here what we have is a tenso fitting, which, as you can see, the barbs here, they actually snap in, so you can actually snap 2 pieces of wood together, and these would be considered basically knockdown fittings. Now you can go back and glue them so that they're more permanent, but these are knockdown fittings. So I look at these as being excellent for if you're building a mock-up project and you want to be able to take it apart. These actual fittings are very expensive, so you have to take that into mind when you're purchasing a Lamello Zeta P2. Over to the right, I have the Domino, dominoes for the Festool Domino. This is the largest domino here. Let me just look at the actual number on it. This is a 12 by 140mm domino, and that's what the Domino XL excels at, is for the larger joinery. So Then, you know, for the smaller joints, you can utilize the regular domino, which that can go down as small as 4 millimeters by 20 millimeters. So that's the smallest one. And these in between, this one here is a 8 by 50, and this one is a 8 by 40 respectively. So you see all of these different methods to be able to join, you know, two pieces of wood together. Now, the benefit to using the domino is well, first and foremost, the way that it works, it actually has a bit that plunges out, and it's similar to like a drill bit, if you will, but the drill bit not only spins, but it also waggles back and forth, creating a slot mortise. Now, the domino, both the Domino XL and the DF500, the smaller domino, both have different settings for that slot. On the bigger domino, it only has 2 settings, which would be an actual tight fit and then a little bit looser fit, which gives you the ability to slide your stock left to right. The smaller domino actually has 3 different settings that give you that same benefits. You would have a tight fit, you would have a fit that gives you a little bit of play, and then one that gives you a lot more play, which makes these devices ideal for when you want to actually have pieces come together and have a little bit more wiggle room when you're assembling them. Contrarily, if you're using a Mafell dual doweler, you need to be spot on, because these dowels do not have any kind of play or travel left to right. So if you are off in your plunge and they don't line up board to board, then you're going to have unfavorable results. Now, the Zeta P2, I've learned some unique things about this. Now, I actually, before I bought the Mafell, I bought the Zeta P2, and it was between these two. It was neck and neck, and I went with the Zeta P2 simply because with the Mafell, as what I learned with the Festool domino, you really want to have clamps in the shop. If you're going to put a project together, in order for it to hold together and actually be glued up, you're going to use a clamp, you know, while the project is gluing. Now with the Lamello, you can actually do knockdown fittings, and I do know that Festool does have a knockdown fitting, which I have here. Right here, we just have some components to the Festool knockdown fittings. Basically, this one has more parts. These are a little bit more simplified, so you know, maybe a little bit more ingenuity into these connectors by comparison to these, because these are kind of like more of a bolt-on type of solution. And the one thing that I found out about these connectors is they cannot be reused. Once you deploy them, they cannot be reused. Whereas with these Climax connectors, they actually slide in and out of the slot, which makes it perfect for if you build up like a mock project and you decide you want to come back and change your project, which is something I'm going to do. I'm building my scrap CDX cart or cabinet, and I use the Climax connectors for that. And right now I have it disassembled because I need to cut the actual side and the back down to make it lower, because I decided to add a wheel base on there. And these connectors make that easy. I just cut off the part that I don't need and then mortise the end, and then I can put these in and just move forward with my project. So I'm not going to be able to go over everything about these tools in one video. So for those that are interested, and this is more so geared towards people that are similar to myself, a DIY type of person who maybe has an interest or an extreme interest in woodworking type of tools, then you know these videos will be more so for you. Anybody that's a professional that's been using these, you know, these videos, you know, they don't tell you anything. But me being just a regular consumer who's decided, you know what, I'm going to get into these more expensive tools. I'm going to try them out for myself. I'm going to see if they work well for me. This is just an option that I have for myself. I'm trying to figure out where I want to take this video, because there's a lot of material to cover. There is actually doing the plunges so you can see how it operates. Then there's also comparing the actual different settings and the different ways that the tools can be used. And being that I am, you know, a novice to these machines, it may be a little bit of a bumpy ride as I basically share what I discover as I use these tools. So this is going to be, in a way, it's going to be like a series of videos for me. And they're going to help me to get to know the tools, but also that will also possibly help another person that may be interested in any of these tools. They could decide for themselves, as a person coming from a background like myself, someone that is not a professional, they may want to choose one or the other machine, and they may not be getting the layman knowledge or the layman information about the machines. I know when I looked up the Mafell and the Lamello, there were very few videos on YouTube that talked about these machines and that actually went into any, they would go into depth. Well, this one is more so, not so much as much depth about it, but a lot of the videos are actually in, I believe, in German. So that makes it a little bit challenging to, you know, kind of understand what's being said. I guess one of the things that I could go ahead and do in this video is go ahead and let's get the weight of the actual devices and see what they come in at. You should consider that obviously the Domino XL and also the Domino 500, they actually have the power cords that detach, so I'm not weighing those with the cords. So it's not an apples to apples comparison, but you'll kind of get an idea. And we'll go ahead and zero this out. Let's try the Mafell and drop it on there. And the Mafell comes in at 6.36 pounds. And we'll go over to kilograms. That's 2.886 kilograms. So that's for the actual Mafell DDF40. We're back at zero. We're gonna go ahead and put the Lamello up here. And the Lamello comes in at 3.368 pounds, or kilograms, sorry, 3.368 kilograms. And in pounds, it comes in at 7 pounds, 6.9 ounces. Interesting. So the Lamello is quite a bit, it's heavier. Let me try that again. Yeah, it's a pound heavier. So the Lamello is more of a beefy device. Wow, I didn't really notice that. So now let's move on to the Festool, the bigger Domino. All right, now the big Domino comes in at 11 pounds, 9.5 ounces. And that is 5.258 kilograms. Now let's go with the Festool Domino. And the Festool Domino is coming in at 7 pounds, 7.06 pounds, and that is 3.2 kilograms. So that's what the Festool DF500 Domino is coming in at as far as weight. And I'm just using this smart weight scale. My wife uses it to weigh packages and such. And yeah, so let's see, yeah. So anyway, so we have the weight of the devices there. Let's go ahead and do a quick plunge on some wood with all of the devices. So what I have here is just a regular 2x4 piece of lumber from like your home's box store. And this is just to kind of get a comparison of how the mortising works on each device. So let me go ahead and hook up my dust extraction here. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the dust port onto the DF or the DDF40. All right, we got that in place. Let's go ahead and use the DF500 first. Now, I'm using this with my Festool vacuum here. All right, so right now in the Festool Domino, I believe this is like a, I think this may be a 6mm bit. I'm not 100% certain, but let's just go ahead and do a plunge and we'll compare all of the actual mortises that are made by these devices. So I'm not doing anything special as far as like orienting the actual the machine to the wood. I'm just basically buttoning it up and plunging. So this is not super scientific, but I just want to kind of get an idea for like the ease of the plunge, comparing one tool against the other. In later videos, we'll do different plunges from different angles, but right now this is just kind of like a dry run to see what it's like. So one of the things you notice there is with the domino, it actually has the slide and click switch that keeps the machine on. That's similar to the actual Lamello Zeta P2. The Mafell has like just a clicky push button, and the DF500 has a toggle switch. So let's go ahead and do this first plunge. So remember, I'm not really looking at actually where the mortise is put or you know, judging that. We're just basically seeing how smoothly the device actually plunges into this 2x4, and then also taking a look at the mortise itself. We'll get more into detail about the different sizes of mortises later. Let's go ahead and move on and do the DF500 or DF700, excuse me. So before we move forward, let's see if we can focus in here. So you can see the actual hole there, right here. And this is on the tight fitting, okay? And then let's go ahead and hook up the bigger domino. And you turn these a quarter turn once you plug them in. And let's hook up our dust collection. With the dominoes, it is encouraged that you use dust collection because of the fact that you will basically dull your bits faster if you don't. So we're gonna go right next to this next joint, or this mortise, and go ahead and plunge. And this is on the tight setting as well. If you look here, you can compare the difference in the size of the mortises here. You see how much bigger this is. This, I believe, is the 12 millimeter, and this right here is I think 6, but you know, we'll get into more details in a future video, but we just want to see what the mortises look like. All right, so next, so here you can see the actual mortise. It's a slot. So right off the bat, you can see something here as far as like you're going to have some limitations as far as the width of the material that you can utilize the Zeta P2 with. Just grabbing this rough scale here. Let's see here. So you got about 3 inches, right? So you would probably want to go with a material that's probably 3.5 inches minimum. So if you were thinking about rails and stiles on a door or drawer or anything, you would have to keep that in mind if you were going to use the Lamello for that. Whereas you can see that the domino has a much narrower setting, so you can see that there's a different place for these different tools. Now let's go ahead and utilize the Mafell dual doweler, and this hose does fit on all of the devices, fortunately. So let's go ahead and fire this up. All right, so let's take a look there at all of the different mortises. So you've got your Mafell dual doweler here, the Zeta P2, the Domino XL with the largest actual bit, and then you also have the this is the Mafell or the DF500 Festool. So the DF500 Festool, DF700 Festool, Zeta P2, and the Mafell dual doweler, right? So let me grab some actual connectors and put them in the respective openings. All right, so here we have the 8mm dowels, and they fit in there nice and snug, right? I could use a hammer to hammer those down in deeper. For the bigger domino, slide that in. All right, and so this right here is a 5x30, right? And that fits in there snug. And then finally, we'll use the Climax connector here. And it just slides in just like that. So you can take a look at the different connectors here. You can see them from different perspectives here. Now, the one thing that I really like about the Zeta P2 connectors, I can just stick this in here like this. Use this device here. Pull that right on out, and you know, reuse it in another project if I needed to. This domino can come out pretty easily. This comes out pretty easily. These dowels I've found are in there pretty good. Let me grab some pliers or channel locks. And yeah, they take a little bit more force to come out. And that's only, I want to say, that's, I believe, a 10mm plunge. So that goes down 40. And so you're going to get some really good and tight connections with these actual devices. I can pull this one out of here. All right. Okay, so I don't want to make this video super long because I have so much to learn about these tools, so much to cover, and I know I'm not going to be able to do it all in one video. As I learn more about the tools, I may, towards the end, come up with like a summary video. But for those that are interested, you could kind of follow me along the journey of getting to know these tools and utilizing them in some of my upcoming projects.